Welcome to Fluent English Hub. Today, you are going to listen to an interesting English story called The Stranger at the Bus Stop. This story is about a young man, a rainy morning, and a stranger who taught him an important lesson about kindness. Let's begin. It was a cold Monday morning in the small town of Brookdale. The sky was gray. Dark clouds covered the town, and rain was falling slowly. A young man named Ethan was standing at a bus stop. He was 22 years old and had just started a new job in the city. It was his first week. He was excited about the job, but he was also nervous. He looked at his watch. 7:20 a.m. The bus should be here soon, he thought. Ethan stood under the small roof of the bus stop. There was only one other person there. It was an old man. The man wore a dark coat and held a small black umbrella. He had a brown bag beside him. Ethan had never seen him before. The old man smiled. "Good morning." "Good morning," Ethan replied. Then they stood quietly. The rain became heavier. Ethan looked down the road. Still no bus. He checked his phone. 7:25, then 7:30, then 7:35. Ethan became worried. I can't be late on my first week, he thought. He looked at the old man. "Do you know when the bus is coming?" The old man looked at the road. "It should be here soon." "Has it been late before?" "Sometimes." Ethan sighed. "I really need to get to work." The old man smiled. "Your first week?" Ethan looked surprised. "How did you know?" "You look nervous." Ethan laughed. "Is it that obvious?" "A little." They both smiled. Suddenly, Ethan noticed something on the ground. It was a small brown wallet. It was lying near the bench. Ethan picked it up. "There is someone's wallet here." The old man looked at it. "Open it." Ethan opened the wallet carefully. Inside, there was some money, an identification card, and a photograph of a young girl. Ethan looked at the photograph. Someone must be worried about this. The old man nodded. Yes. Ethan looked around. Nobody else was near the bus stop. What should we do? The old man said, "We should find the owner." Ethan looked at his watch again. The bus was still late. He was worried about his job. "I don't have much time." The old man looked at him. "Then what will you do?" Ethan looked at the wallet. He knew the answer. "I'll wait." The old man smiled. "Good choice." 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Ethan began to feel more nervous. Finally, a woman came running down the street. She looked worried. She was looking at the ground. "My wallet!" She stopped near the bus stop. "Did anyone find a brown wallet?" Ethan held it up. "Is this yours?" The woman's face immediately changed. "Yes!" She took the wallet and checked inside. "Thank you. I thought I had lost it forever." Ethan smiled. "I'm glad we found you." The woman looked at the old man. "Did you find it?" Ethan shook his head. "I found it, but he helped me wait." The woman smiled at both of them. "Thank you." She looked at Ethan. "You have no idea how important this is. That photograph is my daughter. She is in the hospital. I was going to visit her." Ethan suddenly understood why the wallet was so important. The woman thanked them again and hurried away. A few minutes later, the bus finally arrived. Ethan turned toward the old man. "Thank you." "For what?" "For reminding me to do the right thing." The old man smiled. "You didn't need me to remind you. You already knew what was right." Ethan stepped onto the bus. Before the doors closed, he looked back. The old man was still standing at the bus stop. He raised his hand and smiled. Ethan smiled back. As the bus drove away, Ethan thought about the morning. He had been worried about being late. He had been worried about his job. But for a few minutes, something else had been more important. Helping someone. He didn't know it yet, but the stranger at the bus stop had left him with a lesson he would remember for the rest of his life. The next morning, Ethan arrived at the bus stop early. He looked around. The old man was not there. Ethan felt a little disappointed. He had wanted to thank him again. The bus arrived on time. Ethan got on and went to work. But throughout the day, he kept thinking about the old man. Who was he? Why had he been at the bus stop? And why did his simple words feel so important? That evening, Ethan returned home after work. As he walked toward his apartment, he noticed an elderly man standing near the entrance. Ethan stopped. It was the stranger from the bus stop. "Hello?" The old man turned around. "Ethan?" Ethan was surprised. "You know my name?" The old man smiled. "You told me yesterday." Ethan laughed. "Of course." They talked for a few minutes. The old man's name was Daniel. He lived in the same neighborhood. He had been visiting his sister that morning. Ethan told him about his new job. Daniel listened carefully. "How was your first week?" "Good, but I was almost late yesterday." Daniel smiled. Sometimes being late is not the worst thing that can happen. Ethan understood what he meant. A few days later, Ethan saw Daniel again. This time, Daniel was sitting on a bench in a small park. Ethan sat beside him. "Do you come here often?" "Almost every morning." "Why?" "I like watching people." Ethan laughed. "Watching people?" "Yes, people are interesting." They talked for a long time. Ethan learned that Daniel had worked as a teacher for many years. He had taught hundreds of children. "Do you miss teaching?" Ethan asked. "Sometimes." "What did you teach?" "History." "Why did you stop?" Daniel looked toward the trees. "I retired several years ago." Then he smiled. "But I still teach." Ethan looked confused. "How?" Daniel pointed at him. "Like yesterday. You taught me something?" "Maybe." "What?" "That a few extra minutes can be more valuable than you think." Ethan smiled. Weeks passed. Ethan and Daniel became friends. They sometimes met at the bus stop. Sometimes they walked through the park. Sometimes they simply talked. Daniel never gave Ethan big speeches. Instead, he taught him through small stories. One day, Daniel said, "People often think kindness requires a lot of money, but it doesn't. Sometimes kindness is simply giving someone your time." Ethan remembered the wallet. Another day, Daniel said, "People are always busy. They hurry to work, they hurry home, they look at their phones. And sometimes they forget to look at the people around them." Ethan thought about his own life. He realized Daniel was right. One rainy morning, Ethan was waiting for the bus again. A young woman was standing nearby. She looked worried. She kept checking her phone. Then she looked down the road. Ethan recognized that nervous expression. He smiled. "Are you waiting for the bus?" "Yes. It should be here soon." She looked at him. "I'm late for an important meeting." Ethan laughed softly. "Don't worry. I was in your position once." They waited together. A few minutes later, the bus arrived. Before Ethan got on, he looked at the empty seat where Daniel usually sat. Daniel wasn't there, but Ethan remembered his words. A few extra minutes can be more valuable than you think. Months later, Ethan received a promotion at work. His manager told him, "You are very responsible. You always help your coworkers." Ethan smiled. He thought about Daniel. He realized that the lesson from the bus stop had slowly changed him. Before meeting Daniel, Ethan was always in a hurry. He cared mostly about his own schedule. Now he noticed people. He listened more. He helped when he could. And he learned that being kind did not always require a big action. Sometimes it was just a smile. Sometimes it was listening. Sometimes it was waiting. One afternoon, Ethan went to the park to find Daniel. But Daniel wasn't there. He asked someone nearby, "Do you know where Daniel is?" The person looked at him. "Daniel?" "Yes, the older man who usually sits here." "Oh." The person became quiet. "He moved away last week." Ethan was surprised. "Do you know where?" "No." Ethan sat on the bench. He felt sad. He had wanted to say goodbye. Then he noticed something on the bench. There was a small envelope. His name was written on it. Ethan. He opened it. Inside was a short note from Daniel. It said, "Ethan, you once waited for a stranger because he needed help. I hope you continue to do the same for others. Life moves quickly, but kindness gives us a reason to slow down. Don't forget that. Daniel." Ethan read the note twice. Then he smiled. He didn't know where Daniel had gone, but he knew the lesson would stay with him. Years later, Ethan still remembered the rainy morning at the bus stop. He remembered the wallet. He remembered the worried woman. And he remembered the stranger with the black umbrella. Sometimes, we meet people for only a short time. We may never know how important their words will become. Daniel had been a stranger. Then he became a friend. And finally, he became a lesson Ethan carried with him. Ethan learned that kindness does not need to be big. You can help someone with a few minutes. You can listen to someone who needs to talk. You can return something that does not belong to you. You can simply stop and notice someone who needs help. Small actions can make a big difference. And sometimes, the stranger you meet for only a few minutes can change the way you see the world. Thank you for listening to The Stranger at the Bus Stop. I hope this story helped you improve your English and reminded you to notice the people around you. If you enjoyed the story, please like this video, subscribe to Fluent English Hub, and share it with someone who enjoys meaningful English stories. And remember, you never know how much one small act of kindness can mean to another person. Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep being kind.